Okay, this video is to help you with your test 4 corrections. So I'm just going to get you started on them and then you're going to finish the problems. So the first question says, given the equation negative 2x minus y equals 4, graph the line and give the following values. So anytime you have an equation like that, you always have to solve it for y first. So use MDR. So your first step is to move, and so we need to move the 2x because we're trying to get y by itself. Okay, so we've done the move step. Next step is to divide, and since there's still a negative right here, that's a negative 1. So that means we have to divide everything by negative 1. So we have y equals negative 2x minus 4. From that, you can find your slope, which is your m value, and your y-intercept, which is b. So you just have to remember y equals mx plus b. And remember to write your y-intercept as a coordinate. And then to find the x-intercept, once you have m and b, you can graph it. So graph your line and then see where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, number 2 says identify the following characteristics from the graph. This one, the graph was left off, so I told you to draw this line. I had it on the board. So the 0 is the same thing as x-intercept. So you just look, where does it cross the x-axis? So it crosses the x-axis right there. So that's our 0. So that's at 2. So when you write a 0, you put x equals and then the number 2. And then the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So that would be this dot right here. And remember to write your answer as a coordinate. Okay, what's the range of the function? First of all, range is your y values. So you should be able to cross off some answer choices just from that. And then when you make your box, range is from bottom to top. So you need to look at the bottom of your box and the top of your box. Okay, number 4, the squares below are arranged in a sequence to produce a geometric pattern. Which expression can be used to determine the perimeter of a composite figure made of s squares arranged in this pattern? So you have to make a table first. So in the first picture, our perimeter, you add up all the sides and you get 8. So our first one is 8. The second one, when we add it up, you'd have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Third one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And the last one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So once you have a table, all you need to do is use stat in your calculator. So once you use stat, you'll have your answer. Simplify the following expression. So since there's parentheses and we have numbers outside, we know we have to distribute. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, now this negative 1/2 is what messed a lot of people up. Y'all, you have to remember you're distributing this whole thing. So negative 1/2 times positive 2 would give us negative 1x. And then negative 1/2 times positive 10 would also be negative, and half of 10 is 5. So then your next step would be to combine your like terms. So the x's can be combined and the regular numbers. Once you do that, that'll be your answer. Okay, which of the following equations can be used to model the sequence? So on this one, you should make a table first. The first number is 0.5, second number is -3, third number is -6.5, fourth is -10. So then you just put it into stat and you'll have your answer. Okay, number 7. The graph below shows John's weekly earnings as a function of his total weekly merchandise sales. Find John's rate of change. So rate of change just means find the slope. So slope is rise over run. So if you draw your slope triangle, you have to be really careful when you're counting, because some of y'all just wanted to say, oh, it goes up 1 and over 2. And so you automatically picked B. But you have to pay attention to these numbers over here on the sides. It's not going by 1s. It's actually going by 20s. So it's really going up 20 and over, and down here it's going by 50, so 50 and then 100. And then you have to reduce. So when you reduce it, you'll have your answer. Okay, suppose y varies directly with x, and when x is 16, y is 30. What is y when x is 17? So this one should have made a proportion. So when x is 16, y is 30. When x is 17, we don't know y. So now you have to cross multiply. And I'll let you do the rest. Next, if y varies directly with x, these are your keywords right here. That means direct variation. So you know that's the equation y equals kx. It says y is 84 when x is 16. Which of the following represents the situation? So you should know that to find k, you divide y by x. So our y value is 84 divided by x, which is 16, and then reduce. Okay, on the next one, calculate the slope for the table shown below. You either need to use stat or the slope formula. Now, the people that use stats, some of them still got points taken off because stat gives a decimal and I counted off points if you wrote it as a decimal because it wasn't precise. So you need to be careful when you use stat for that reason. So if you use the slope formula, you have y2, y1, x2, and x1. So you just plug those numbers into your formula. Okay, number 11, the graph of y equals x is given the transformation y equals f of x minus 2 plus 3. Which of the following would correctly describe the transformation? So I had all this written on the board, and you should have just looked to see x minus 2. If there's a minus inside the parentheses, that means it's going to the right. Okay, and then plus 3 outside the parentheses means it's going up. So the only one that says right and up is B. Okay, this one says use the graph below to answer the following questions. Graph the correct transformation. Make sure to show where all points end up. So on the board I had given you the parent function table, which was -2, -2, because that's right here. -1, -1 is right here. 0, 0. 1, 1, and 2, 2. So you have 5 points. And then our transformation is -1/2 x. So if you had looked at the board and saw which one looked like that, it is a horizontal stretch. So that means that our x values are going to get bigger. And you can tell how much bigger because I've told y'all if it's inside the parentheses, you think of the opposite. So the opposite of halving something is actually doubling it. So we have to double the x's. So if you make your new table, the y's are going to stay the same. The x's are going to be multiplied by 2. So I'm going to let you do that, times 2 to all the x values. And then you have to graph it.